What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Kai K. I'm back with another one. So today we're going to be doing a discussion video talking about basically Gogeta versus Vegito and Legends. Talk about the releases and my thoughts and shit like that. So let's get back. Let's get straight into it, right? So the big thing I know, and let's not be biased here, because I know there's going to be some hardcore Vegito fans that's going to try and be biased. We all got to not be biased here. I'm not being biased. We all got to have a straight line of thinking here, right? Now, the biggest problem why you probably will see around, why a lot of people saying probably why Dimps or Bandai hates Legends, why do the devs hate not Legends, but why do the devs hate Gogeta, is mostly because his counterpart Vegito, we all know Vegito and Gogeta are pretty much counterparts. They're pretty much the number one most popular characters in all of Dragon Ball. So there's that. So everybody wants to know why his counterpart Vegito is always feel like he's getting the more better treatment as a character, right? And this is not trying to be no favoritism of which one you like. Let's just get all that shit out the way, right? Because let's be honest, even though Gogeta technically does have, not even technically, he does have actually more characters released because he has an EX. The problem with Gogeta releases in this game versus the Vegeta releases is that the Gogeta units, when they drop into the game, they are never as meta defining as the Vegito units when they drop into the game. I think that's the biggest problem that a lot of people have with Gogeta units dropping in this game, is that they're never meta defining. Like all the Vegito units, Red Vegito, the free to play one, even though has poop damage, bro, even he came in, he was meta defining with his crazy defense and his lock-in. Yellow Vegito was crazy unit and stuff like that. LF Super Vegito, we're not even gonna speak on that. That guy was meta for almost like 8 months before he died out. Same thing we're getting with Blue Vegito here. He came up for the second anniversary, and now we're talking 7 months later, and he's still being used in the meta. That same longevity never applies to any of the Gogeta units that have ever been released in a game. Maybe Blue Vegito, who came out almost 2 years ago, the Blue Transformer Super Saiyan Vegito, he was probably the closest one to ever get that same like a type of treatment or longevity. But outside of that, no. The Vegito units have always come into the meta and always changed it drastically, and always was a must-have for if you wanted to run fusions. With Gogeta, the Blue Gogeta, honestly, it doesn't really feel like that. It feels like, I mean, sure, it is probably the only like yellow buff they're going to get it for a while, but I feel like yellow transforming Vegito, Super Vegito, is still very much usable. If you don't have LF Blue Gogeta, you're not going to cry over it like, damn, I can't even run fusions no more. He's just so good. I need him, right? And I guess I can understand why they wanted to go out of their way to try and balance it, but it just feels weird, especially when you think about how overpowering the Zenkai system is, right? Or the Zenkai units are. And that's where things get really hectic, right? Because these Zenkais are coming in and they're just overpowering and overshadowing these LF units. And LF units are starting to feel less special because you're spending all these corner crystals to try and get these LF units. They have low ass rates and shit like that. You only get like 1 or 2 copies just to get them on 3 or 3, 4 star, 3 or 3 star, something like that, really low star, probably something like that for the average player we're talking about. And then you're like, okay, he's solid, but my Android 18 can run through a whole team in like 30 seconds, or my LF Gohan can clutch a match for me at any situation. You know what I'm saying? So the Zenkai system has changed the game into the way to where even LFs are just feeling completely overshadowed, and it really does suck. And maybe if another Vegito unit releasing the Zenkai meta, that may be the same thing, but all the Vegito units just happen to have it to where they came in and they just never had that effect. It was always the effect of where they're overpowering the meta and they're dominant, and it's never been that same type of feel with Gogeta Blue. So now you guys can get a just for my people of why a lot of people were so upset. Why particularly most of the Gogeta fans were so upset with his release. And that's not even half of it. Now you have to talk about the banners, right? Now, on top of Gogeta Blue being overshadowed by Zenkais and stuff like that when he was just first being introduced, ironically, Yellow Guy Vegeta is just got his Zenkai, so he legit did get kind of replaced in some sort of fashion. But is that so? We have to talk about the banners. The banners, man. the fucking banners, bro. Why did they do these banners like that, bro? I don't really understand why these banners are being done like that. It just makes no sense. Like, bro, why the fuck? Why, bro? They took away some of the reduced steps. There's no more 300 Chrono Crystal step on the first try. No more 700 Chrono Crystal step. None of that. They took away a lot of the perks that you get from doing some of the steps. All that other bullshit, man. And they re-changed the way they did the sparking tickets, which is probably the worst fucking thing out of all of this, bro. So instead of getting increased rates on your sparking tickets, you would need, before you used to have to get 5 sparking tickets to get 1 guaranteed sparking, and then the newer units will have a higher chance, a higher increased rate of you pulling them. They changed that to where none of that really matters anymore. You get 1 guaranteed sparking ticket, and you will be able to do a single summon and get a sparking, but you don't get the increased rate. So you get more sparkings in the long run, but you get less increased rate. So the chance of you pulling a unit is still always going to be lower. So it's kind of a mechanic to try and bait you out into thinking that you're going to be getting more just by having more sparking guaranteed tickets. But that's not really the fucking case, and that's really what made the banner bad. Plus, it's a double LF banner. Honestly, I don't really think I want any more double LF banners, and it's sad to say because without double LF banners, we can't have villain LFs, right? We can't have villain LFs without double LF banners, and villain LFs is something that we wanted as a community. But now I'm not even sure if I want this shit no more, if this is how they're going to be implemented into the game. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my personal thoughts on that, man. The banners were trash, bro, and then you already were forced to choose between 2 banners. Gogeta banner was bad because they know that they can milk Gogeta out of all this fucking money, pretty much, and there's that. And Broly banner was pretty much all flames, but we all know Broly wasn't the major hype, even though he's a good unit. Even though some people even say he's better than Blue Gogeta, I think so as well. They made it to where his banner was better than Gogeta's because they knew that Gogeta was the hype and they can milk it out more that way. That's the thing about this whole Gogeta situation. Just feels like Legends just doesn't really care. They just see it as, well, y'all waited 2 years for this, y'all better be ready to drop that bag because he's here, but not really caring to the fact that, no, they're just dragging, I guess, milking the character as much as possible, which from a business standpoint, I can understand it. It makes sense, right? It makes sense why they would do something like this, or why they would milk this character out. And when it comes to Vegito, they do the same shit, but it's just that at least Vegito comes in and he holds up to that, I guess, the expectations that a lot of people hold for like one of the most popular characters in all of Dragon Ball. And that doesn't mean that every popular character has to translate to being an OP unit in Legends, but this is Gogeta Blue, bro. This is a unit we waited 2 years for. That's the big difference, bro. 2 years. 2 years. That's a big difference between all of this, bro. And finally, I was able to get people out of my DMs and comment section asking for this shit, and then it's finally here. It's like, wow, this is such an underwhelming celebration. This is Blue Gogeta is just so underwhelming with this new Zenkai meta. So this is that, man. I always say, I've been saying this for the longest, man. Zenkais have changed the game in such a drastic way, where what is the point of even really chasing after LFs anymore, or at least particular LFs anymore? I don't really know, to be honest, man. Where you could just wait for a Zenkai versus trying to get a 2-star LF, right? 2-star LFs are they're just not gonna cut it, and that's what the average player is most likely gonna get with how bad the banners were. And 2 stars, he just doesn't get the job done. I mean, as effectively. You can still use him, but it's a high skill threshold there. And that's not, and even me saying all this, that doesn't make Blue Gogeta bad. He's a hard hitting unit, but all the odds are just stacked against him, man. Bad banner introduced into a overly powerful Zenkai meta where he gets overshadowed. Yeah, damn, bro. Why they doing my boy Gogeta like that? Why the fuck do you hate my boy Gogeta so much? So I'm not talking about that. That was my long ass, I guess, mini rant video, discussion video talking about Blue Gogeta versus Vegito, all his releases, all the releases, stuff like that, and why it seems like no Gogeta Blue pretty much just got the shaft as a character. At the end of the day, I was already been over it, but I just kind of feel like I needed to get this out. It was just lingering in the back of my brain, like, damn, they really did Gogeta Blue like that, like. And even after all me saying that, I still think he's a good unit, but it's like, oh, man, these new Zenkais, man, they're just something different, man. And literally a week after his release, what did they do? They dropped a Yellow God Key Zenkai. that runs almost on all the same teams as Blue Gogeta. So it's weird, man. It's weird. Safe as Zenkai's. Safe as Zenkai's. That's the motto. That's the motto from now on. I'm about to start getting to the point where say fuck LF. Safe as Zenkai's, man. Safe as Zenkai's. It's your boy Kai Kigo. Last guy for more content. Tell me what you gotta think about this, man. And I'm out. I'm out.